people that I've worked with that were actually happy in the PM job, what I realized is some of those characteristics were not very obvious. The first one is that I generally saw a pattern of them being extremely competent at the job. And part of that being like them understanding their strengths and kind of taking roles that play to their strengths. But the other part being them having a strong urge to improve themselves and get better, right? So that's one aspect. The other aspect is that they were in the right role for themselves. Too often people end up in the wrong role. And whether it's the wrong domain or the wrong type of company or the wrong product stage, or the wrong level of seniority. But the point is, when these PMs end up in those situations, they actually try their best to change the situation. And in some cases, exit the situation. In other cases, change the circumstances. Third aspect that's related to what I just said is that these folks have very high agency. They don't just default to blaming the circumstances. And then the next aspect is you can only really have high agency if you're optimistic. I've met many cranky pessimistic PMs, but I've not yet met a happy pessimistic PM. So there is some amount of optimism that I think is key. Another big one is that they have some friends at work. And it doesn't have to be 20 friends at work. It's probably 1, 2, or 3 friends. And then the last characteristic I'll share in my observation is that the happy PMs, they are not maximizers. They are satisficers. Basically, they're not trying to get the highest output and the highest kind of maximum results from everything they do. Because when you try to do that, you end up naturally disappointed. Happy PMs, in my view, have shown this ability to satisfy in some conditions that like, okay, this is not optimal, but it's okay. And they have the judgment to figure out where they do need optimal results or optimal outcomes, but they're not looking for optimal and maximum outcomes in everything they do. So those would be a few characteristics that like I've seen common across the happy PMs I've worked with.